What is up, guys? This is the Gamer Bros here, and today I got some really interesting news that recently came out from Sony. All right, we all been waiting for this, and it is finally here, and it is basically the announcement of PlayStation 5. All right, so Sony said that PlayStation 5 is expected to be released on the holidays of 2020. Holidays meaning, the end of the year. So we have around another whole year till we get it. All right. So, they had interviews with the CEO, Jim Ryan, right, and a few other executives at Sony, and especially more specifically the PlayStation department, right? And, they did give a good amount of information as to what we can expect from the new PS5. All right. So one of the major thing is that they now allow ray tracing. They now will have ray tracing built in into their GPUs. Okay. So one of the main concerns was that they might just do a software update to make it seem like there's ray tracing, but that doesn't actually mean the hardware is being better. So luckily they cleared that up, and they said they're going to be using ray tracing in within the GPUs. Okay, so meaning the GPUs will be upgraded. So that's definitely a good sign for in terms of graphics and what we can expect. Okay, so that's one of the major things that, in my opinion, is really good. Another thing is that basically how the games are stored. All right, so normally we had the regular HDD hard drives in there, but now with the new PS5s, they will all come with a solid state drive. All right, so what does that mean? It basically means that the games will load faster, they will save faster. Anything that deals with reading data from the hard drive will be a lot quicker. Okay, so your PS4 will load up faster. Basically, it will be a lot faster in that sense. If you guys know and compared hard drives, HDDs to SSDs, SSDs are way faster than HDDs. Okay, so that is definitely a really good improvement on that end as well. Okay, so aside from that, there are other things related to the hard drive in terms of how game installations will happen. So they mentioned that once you have a game, you can basically decide which one you want to install first, the multiplayer part or the single player part. Okay, so I'm assuming when they're developed as two different things, right? As two different, I don't want to say games, but two different. I would say two different parts of a game, and you can now install just the multiplayer part while and then have the single player part install while you're playing the multiplayer. All right, so we've seen that recently where some games have a small demo you can play while the game is installing. I know 2K has that. But this is, to the next level where you can play a whole campaign or a whole mode before you install the full game. All right. So that's good. And then there's also, you can choose to only install one. Let's say, for example, Call of Duty, most people get it for the online part, right? So now you don't have to get the Call of Duty single player campaign if you only want to play the online campaign. So you can save space on your hard drive like that. All right, so the next thing is the controllers. Okay, so they haven't had a name yet, right? They said they didn't decide on a name yet, but we all know that based off Sony's tradition, it will most likely be DualShock 5, because the PlayStation 4 is the DualShock 4. So, and the PlayStation 3 was a DualShock 3, and so on. So this will most likely be the DualShock 5. Okay, and if it is a different name, um, I'm not really sure why they would choose a different name, but who knows, they might. But yeah, so that being said, there's a lot of cool features on this on the new DualShock, on the new controller, I would say. One is adaptive triggers, and basically they can offer varying levels of resistance to make, let's say, shooting a bow and arrow feel more realistic. Okay, so the tension increasing as you pull the arrow back, or let's say a machine gun feel far different from a shotgun. Okay, so normally you would, right now what you have is it vibrates, and it's basically like the same vibration across all different games, or all different items, or all different actions you're doing in the game. So this will be more specific, or more I guess geared towards what specific item or action you're doing in the game. Okay, so that's another thing. And another thing for the controller, I would say, is um, they are probably going to integrate some kind of voice command inside. This is still debatable, not 100% sure, but people are saying it might have some kind of AI inside the controller, where you can basically do some commands, say some commands, and it'll do some specific action, but that's still not 100% sure. All right. So luckily it will be USB Type C. So they are moving along with the technology as it gets better. So we're not stuck with micro USB. So that's good. Another thing is they say that it will have a larger battery, and even though it says it has a larger battery, I'm not sure whether it will have a longer lifetime, right? Simply due to the fact they added all these new, I would say, features on the controller, which will take up batteries. So I'm not sure whether it will be a lot faster or not. Okay. So another cool thing they have haptic motors. Okay, or I should say haptic feedback, right? And these do make the controller a bit heavier, but they say it's still lighter than um, the controller. If you would, it's still lighter than an Xbox controller with batteries in it. Okay, so it's still lighter than that, but it is a little heavier than your traditional, let's say, DualShock 4 controller that most people are used to. Okay, so so yeah, these are all the features of the controller. These are the main features. The ray tracing in terms of graphics. Then we have the SSD, and then we also have this new DualShock controller. So these are the three main things. And the release date is at the end of 2020. So we got like another year to wait and to get more updates on it and see what basically happens with this system. All right. There hasn't been a price point on this, but based off the features and what different technologies are provided in here, I do believe that it will be somewhere in the upper, definitely above 500, maybe 8, I would say, around there. And that's just a rough estimate. I'm just saying that just based off my experience. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think so far the features that they explained are useful or not? If this controller, or I would say if this new system, do you think it will be a big hit? Or Microsoft is coming out with their own. They did introduce it in one of the recent events. It's called the Project Scarlet. And they didn't go into a lot of details in that, but that will have ray tracing as well. So, just based off the information that we have on the two systems, which one do you guys think will do better? Normally Sony PlayStation does do better than Xbox, Microsoft Xbox, but who knows? Maybe this year will be different. So yeah, leave your thoughts and comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys say and respond back. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.